Welcome to the Starting Over Podcast. I'm your host, Edward Sheldon, aka Dark Logos, and this is the show where we talk about the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix. I unfortunately still have a cold, and the mucus to prove it. Rocktober's lack of sleep, but ton of fun, perpetuated my sickness just a tad. So just bear with me as we navigate today's episode. Just brought the mic a little closer. What I'm going to do is I had lost some of my footage from Rocktober, so I don't have that much footage. So I'm going to put in what I have, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to get some interviews either, like I was planning. So that also cut short some things in the videos this year, but I do have some interesting videos. I'm going to tack it on to the end of today's video, and so you can check that out. What I'm going to talk about, a lot of you all were probably already talking about, and probably talking about in grander detail than what I had. I'm probably going to tell you about some things that happened at Rocktober and how this is going to help you become a better player. And some of the things you're going to probably say is like, hey, Dark Logos, you know these people. How can you say the following things that you're going to say without us, the listeners, thinking that you're, having favoritism or have it out for so-and-so? If you listen to me long enough, you know I'm going to try to be as objective as I possibly can, and as honest with you as I possibly can, without trying to be inflammatory. Okay? So, with that being said, let's get started. First things first, let's talk about managing yourself and your team in an event. No matter what, no matter who you are, what gender you are, what race you are, how old you are, when you enter into a tournament, please understand it's not somebody's job to hold your hand. While that kindness can be afforded to you, don't expect it. And don't get mad when people don't. Just, out of the kindness of their own heart, just put, you over them. Okay? The technicalities of this game is a bit high. Yet, at the same time, us as players are expected to do some things which are really, in all honesty, can, go to an extreme too fundamental. The extreme end is constantly being updated on the rules. If you want to be a high-level player, you really need to be on top of the rules. The other end is basic competency in playing a matching game of what's on the list and then what the person actually has, and then reading actual cards and doing basic math. Now, what instance am I referring to? The DQs. I'm just going to start out the gate. Yes, I'm the voice of the rock, all this other stuff, but there are learning lessons from this. Okay. Number one, if you have a team and up in that sheet, and I always ask my people I'm playing with, you have a theme team. Before I even roll dice, like, do you have a theme team? If out of that mouth that guy says yes, I have a theme team, and I check his sheet and no, he doesn't have a theme team, then I'm going to tell him, yo, dog, you don't have a theme team. Pure and simple. The first round of DQs were justified. I know some people are going to come back and be mad at me for saying that, but the first round of DQs were justified. A thug does not work with a generic theme team. It only works with non-generic keywords. Pure and simple. Whether you roll for initiative or not, your build sheet is wrong. Okay? You should have, known that when you're looking at the figure. And this is why I say it's like basic reading. Okay? And knowing of the rules and knowing of the terminologies. And this is a frustrating thing to say because it sounds like I'm picking on a little guy with no power and, maybe basic knowledge of the rules. And I would come back and say it's this. At the scale in which we are playing at, in comparison to other games, for how much we are playing for is trivial, but for our game it's paramount. And because of that, we have to take it that seriously. We really do. Okay? So, if this is your first year or your second year playing the game, and you make that mistake, understand, you just gotta eat the DQ. You really do. Or you're going to have to deal with penalties. Is the DQ the best tool? No, I actually personally don't believe that a DQ should be used for something as small as trivial as, hey, I messed up on my sheet. But if you, at any point in time, that person utilized any advantages of a theme team and they didn't have a theme team, then yes, that's a DQ worthy, or at minimum, they should be given a loss for that round. And allow a round perpetually backward. Okay? Would that throw you from the tournament? Yeah. Would that have to screw pairings? Yeah. Does that force people to have to do paper pairings? Yeah. And so there's some practicalities to it that causes issues. So I already fully aware of that. Okay. This situation in particular, I feel, with the Cosmic Team Cosmic Team DQs really is more on the fact of when you have an element that just says, hey, I make theme teams for existing, and you have different categories for theme teams, then just from a game design perspective, it's just better off if it just flat says, hey, any sort of team that a person wants to make, I make that make it a theme team. That's just better game design. I can understand for balance how all of a sudden Thug could make scientists stupid again, or mystical more stupid, or soldier, Tin Hut stupid. I understand that, but trust me, it does not escape my reasoning on all of a sudden how I can make, these following generic keywords like dumb, like speedster. Wow, we have hypercharging thugs. Yeah, there we go. I'm really scared of that. Okay, so if you're going into high level play, just again, understand no one's there to hold your hand. When you go into packing your stuff, like you'll hear me say time and time again, keep your stuff in a tank container, pack it the day before, make sure that you double check all your stuff. Okay, and this is with me going into the second DQ. The lady that unfortunately wrote one thing on her sheet and brought something else down. You are able to pre-print out your team with the rock sheets. Like, you can just print them out and bring them to the tournament. It's real easy. So making sure that you have that piece of paper, sealed up with your entire team is on you. If you're like, hey, I'm playing all these other events and I have overlapping mechanics, don't risk it, play something else. And then someone would say, well, that's not fun. I'm like, you're playing for money, or you're playing for rock points, or you're playing for an entry into the national championship, please don't trivialize how serious some people can take this. Like, please don't. I don't want to see any of my listeners victimized because they put themselves in a disadvantageous situation. Okay? So there's a lesson to be learned there. Next is, no matter what happened, be honest about the story. And again, I'm referring to the second DQ, because I'm hearing one end of the story about what was going on with the object, and then I'm going on hearing another end of the story, what was going on about the objects. One in which was that the objects were accidentally changed in between rounds, and the other was that the objects were the same perpetually for all of the rounds. Now, here's what I'm going to say, and please bear with me. And I'm going to have this disclaimer. I know Easton Brock. Howard Brock is my friend. Period. The following things that I'm going to say have no reflection on that relationship. If the items were illegally documented, and Greed Relic is what was supposed to be there, and the Gluttony Relic was what's played, or vice versa, then yes, the retroactive DQ per the rules is what should have happened. Period. Easton should be disqualified from the event. Period. No ends, ifs, or buts about it. Period. Okay, that lady should be disqualified for the event. Period. Per the rules. Per the rules. Now, if we're going to come back and say, is this the best judgment option? No, it's not. But unfortunately, precedent has been set. Period. The previous DQ for a build sheet error set up for the fact that any other build sheet errors had to have DQs. And what does this mean for you as a player? This, again, like I said, nobody's here to hold your hand during an event. Definitely a high level event. Make sure you have your stuff together and you inventory your stuff. And you don't have people touching your stuff, or you're, taking your stuff out ahead of time and doing little mini practice games before the tournament in front of everybody. All these things lead to liabilities. Once you finish your round, make sure everything is tightly packed. I mean, I have like all of my little sins. I keep my sins in the bag. I show the sins to my opponent and then tell them, like, look, man, I'm just going to put them back in this bag because they're tiny and they can fall anywhere. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these cards on top of, the character cards, so you know which sin is on which person. Okay? All right, so going back to this. If there was a mix-up in between rounds, and I do say this, in between rounds, that in between the last round and the round that Easton played this lady, and that when this lady did play Easton, that everything was legit, and then somewhere in the later rounds that something happened, then no, there shouldn't be a retroactive penalty because the point of conflict happened in round 3 or 4. Okay. Now the problem is proving which is true. That's really the problem. Now, one can easily say in the situation of the Cosmic Theme Team, if it was able to be proven that no point in time initiative had been rolled, plus initiative had been rolled, and there isn't anything on the force that says, like, hey, when you have all the characters on the force have the same keyword as blankety blank, you get to do blankety blank. If there's no other keyword triggers on the force, scratch Cosmic off. It's just a team. There's no harm, no foul. But if initiative roll or any other bonuses had been used, illegal gameplay and illegal game state has been initiated. Period. Okay. So we can see right then and there that with these two DQs, there's a lot of lessons learned about personal responsibility, knowledge of the game, and expectations that have to go on. And trust me, people, this is not the show that I want to do, but this is a show that I have to do to be responsible to you and everybody that's involved with Rocktober. Okay? And anybody that wants to get to this high level place, because I think some folks don't understand what they're stepping into. I really don't think some people understand what they're stepping into. And I don't want to be like super melodramatic about it, but really, like, when you're at a large tournament, people will pull out every rule they can to get rid of people. Like, straight up. Like, understand this. Like, so anyway, let's fast forward a bit to some other lessons learned, unfortunately, from drama. Number one, whether, and I'm saying this as a coach with players, whether you like the ruling of the judge or not, you really can't be like questioning the judge. You really can't. And here's why. Like, WizKids rules make it clear that the judge has the final say in any event, even if the ruling is wrong. Okay? Judge has final say. If we start disrupting that, I'm not going to lie, we're setting ourselves up for a ton of chaos. Like, a ton of chaos. And some people might not view it that way, but having played other games where there aren't a lot of judges, yeah, we're asking for trouble. We're courting trouble. So excuse me. So just understand that whether the judge rules in your favor or not, and I know this sounds bad, just take it and roll with it. Sometimes you have a good tournament. Sometimes you have a bad tournament. That's just how it goes. Okay? I mean, it's just how it goes. You can't just be like, oh, he didn't rule in my favor, so that means that he must hate me, or that, that has to be somebody over there that's his friend, or whatever. Like, there are times to, and this is why, like, at major events that you can appeal, and usually it's 3 judges get together on their decision and state what they are going to go with, and all 3 of them vote on what it is, period. Then that's it. That's the best way I can see. If there's a problem with a ruling, you have 3 judges get together and vote. If your venue does not have 3 judges, or you're at a major tournament, it does not have 3 judges, I mean, that's a problem. And I know that's just more of a thing that our game in general has to, like, just sort of go through. But anyway, I think it's something to be mindful of. Next up, the next lesson that I would say that we need to start learning is order of action and resolution of action. And some people might say, hey, Dark Logos, how is this an issue? And I would say is this. The following, again, is what I'm about to say as a player, as a commentator, and as a professional. Doesn't reflect on my relationship with Easton Brock or Howard Brock. Okay? Period. When we look at the final actions that were called during that tournament, that last turn and actions taken by Ed and taken by Easton, there were some problems. Number one, with active judging, I hate to say it, the future of active judging, the judges need to, before the actual game begins, take into account the order of actions of what's possible with the two teams to determine what has to resolve. Okay? What has to resolve. Now, why? You might be asking yourself, hey, Dark Logos, why are you saying this? Why are you saying this? This doesn't make sense. Why? What do you mean has to resolve? You know, why are we talking about this? Okay, so I'm going to tell you real briefly why we're talking about this, and some of you might not want to fully agree with why this is coming up, but I'm just going to tell you, like, yeah, this is a thing. You have mandatory states in heroclix. Yep, no one told me that either until I talked to Norm. You have mandatory states in heroclix. You also have things that have to resolve before you move on, or else the action is not complete. Okay, there's a lot of sloppy play, like a lot. I mean, even with myself, like I'll have some days, okay? Like, I'm not gonna front. Like, I have some days. They're not the best days of heroclix play, you know. So, just being 100 with you all, okay? So, excuse me. When we go back to Ed's turn, where he summoned in Superman Blue, to my recollection, he did not roll. And I was on stream for anybody that didn't know. To my recollection, Danny the Street was not rolled for. We don't have audio in the booth, but we're doing our best to, like, watch the die rolls, like, you know, figuring out what's going on. Okay, so Ed didn't roll for Danny the Street. He summoned Superman Blue. Not quite sure he clicked his resource, but I'm just assuming right now he did. Okay. Didn't roll for Danny the Street. The moment that he was going to declare running shot, the judge, as an active judge, should have came in and said, and again, I know Monday morning quarterbacking, fully understand that. Fully understand that. I didn't have to judge all day. Fully understand that. I didn't have to deal with the drama that happened all day. Fully understand that. Okay? So bear with me. The judge should have said, before you can run a shot, you have to roll Danny on the street. Danny the Street. Period. That's the point of active judging. The judge comes in and says, you have to roll Danny the Street. He can't say, no, you need to go and shoot that guy. That's coaching. That's coaching. Or, hey, you might want to consider, you also can't energy explosion. That is coaching. Okay? That's coaching. All right? But for him to say, hey, you need to roll for Danny the Street, that is the monitoring judge's job. Okay? That's the monitoring judge's job. So, there's that. So, the kill of Jarvis, if, and I'm just going to say, if die rolls were the same, would have ate up more time to the point where Easton would not have been able to make his attack or even summon in Nightwing, just due to the fact that there had to be a pause to roll for Danny on Danny the Street. Okay. Next up, if we break it down, we go to Easton's turn. Easton does a rush turn. He doesn't roll for Danny the Street, but here's why it doesn't matter, because he doesn't take a move action, to my knowledge. He summons with the Ultron drone, drops down Nightwing. Nightwing then takes a free action to drop down Zuko. Automatic problem. Automatic problem. The judge should have said, no, you can't do that. Okay. Now, some of you might be scratching your head and saying, why? This seems absolutely perfectly legal. Okay? Now, bear with me. Easton is running the Quinjet. Okay? He summoned an ID card with the Quinjet. he hasn't finished resolving his state with the Quinjet. Before he could even drop Zuko, he needed to roll for his resource and click his resource. Again, Easton would not have had enough time to declare or make an attack. Okay? Not only that, again, Easton has to drop out Tony Zuko. Okay? If he drops out Tony Zuko, again, that has to be a declared action. Then he has to declare perplexed, but he can only drop out Tony Zuko after the resolution of the ID card summon. Hyper anal, I know. But it has to happen. Why do I know this? Again, mandatory effects from Norm. If I did not have to go through the whole mandatory effects with Norm, I would not know this. And truthfully, I don't think anybody else in heroclix, other than whoever listened to my origin show, knows this as well. And here's why this mandatory effects thing is really more huge than anyone else knows, and I haven't heard anybody else talk about it, including some people I know that are judges. Okay. And this is what happened with Norm and him breaking it down with me. ID cards in particular, and I'm just using ID cards as a general example, not as the looky here, this all wraps around ID cards. At the beginning of the game, you have to assign a character and a click number to the ID card. If you fail to do so, the moment it is realized, it has to be done. No matter what, that game state has to resolve. Okay, if you as a player 2, you're not the one using the cards, realize that that person has not assigned characters to their cards with their corresponding click numbers, immediately it is your obligation to inform your opponent that that game state hasn't resolved. All other game states are paused, and you have to resolve that game state because it predated the other game states that are happening, and it must resolve. If you fail to resolve that game state, the judge can fully DQ you or punish you because you are cheating, because you are aware of a game effect that should be taking place and not notifying your opponent that it has to take place. Such as, outside of Pulse Wave, if an opponent makes an attack onto a character with shape change is a mandatory effect. It must go off. If I hit a person and I know that they have shape change and I'm like, I hit you for 3 damage, and then they're like, cool, and they don't look at their dial. Okay, bear with me. And this is how Norm explained it to me. If they don't look at their dial and they just clicked, I have cheated and the judge has a right to DQ me. Why is that? It's a mandatory game state that has to go off. I'm aware that that game state has to go off. I did not allow it to resolve. Period. Now, is mandatory game states anywhere in your freaking book? No. But the head judge of WizKids pretty much, well, let me phrase that. One of the head judges of WizKids pretty much informed me of that. Because he almost DQ'd one of my teammates when we made it clear, like, hey, he didn't declare who was on his ID cards. We're beyond the beginning of the game. So he doesn't get to use his ID cards. Period. But, again, mandatory effects. So, coming back. Rewind. Alright. Now that I've maxed Headroom you, and for those of you who weren't born in the 80s, go look that up. Going back to the moment that Easton played that ID card, rolling for the resource is a mandatory effect. He has to roll. Period. He doesn't have a chance to attack. He doesn't have a chance to perplex. No matter how fast he goes, he legally would not have had time. because once he rolls, he still has to click. He can't do that in 0.2 seconds. So for all the folks who's like, Easton should have won if he got flurry and he should have got the attack. No, Ed is right. He should not have gotten the attack. Ed's reasonings were wrong. It was wrong. Okay? But Ed was right. Easton should not have gotten the attack because other actions did not resolve. Okay? So what does this have to do with you, the player? Understand freaking order of actions and resolution of actions. You have to. You have to. Someone is saying like, hey, I'm going to play this ID card. Boom. Now I'm going to summon this guy. Boom. Then I forgot to roll for my blankety blank. And you're like, hey, man, you have to like immediately jump on it and be like, none of this, you got to stop. None of this other stuff can happen until you roll for your ID card, because this state has to resolve before you can proceed and do anything else. And I don't want you to do it in a dick way where, he did a roll and attack where he hit you, and then you're like, hold on, wait, dude, you can't even do that. I don't want you to do it that way, but I do want you to be clear and be like, hey, this has to resolve before you can even go through to this next stage. Okay? Now, going back to active judging is there to make sure this happens. That everything resolves in order before the next action is dictated. Please hear me out. I'm not trying to Monday morning quarterback on this. Okay? I understand that judges don't have a freaking cyber hookup to the back of their brain so they instantly, look at every single WizKids rule that they possibly can. But this is something that an advanced judge should know. All right? I know Terry. It's not a slight on Terry. It's nothing personal. But this is something that an advanced judge should know. Either that or there's some stuff out there that's really not being taken care of from a judge perspective by WizKids and Rock. Okay? Now, again, I don't know. Some weirds happen with the real rule books, and there's some secret handshake knowledge out there that I need to know and have a 5th degree, level masonry to get initiated into the understanding. I'm not sure. But I'm just telling you from like my basic competitor experience, these are things that are going on. All right. Next up, I would tell you is keep track real closely about your scoring. Real closely about your scoring. All right. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole roll-off thing because, again, 3 judges should be able to resolve the situation. The only time there should be a roll-off is if there's one judge in the entire venue and there's a total disagreement. The judge admits that he does not know. But if the judge makes a decision, the judge makes a decision. So there should never be a roll-off if the judge makes an actual decision. Okay? So when you're doing your scoring, just like I liked how they did it on the screen. They just put everything up in a line and made sure to count it up and to see, like, to keep it clear of like what was done. In case of drones, you want to have like a die on the side if you're able to bring back drones or bring back anything like multiple times, or if you reloaded something, your opponent still scores points, 5 points for that. Just make sure you keep up on those things. So anyway, overall, I know with all the drama that's going on right now with AC Realms and whatnot, folks are making it sound like the Realms Open Championship was the most demonic, horrible tournament all year round. It's right up there with the second coming of the Antichrist, which the first, I don't even know when it happened. And then, he was crowned with the power of, the Triforce or something. I don't know. But it's Realms. I'm going to be honest with you. It's Realms. If you've been around long enough, the sky done fell, hit the ground, turned into a pool of water. The freaking ozone has evaporated and turned into a big scorching, heat zone. Like, that's just the realm sometimes. If they clamp down on something, they clamp down on something. There's no way around it. This is still probably 3 of the best days of gaming that you can experience, and it's a ton of fun. So that's it for today's episode. I am really exhausted, and I'm probably be heading to bed here. And I'm going to tack on, like I said, my video at the end of the show. So you can email me at starringoverpodcast@gmail.com. That's starringoverpodcast@gmail.com. If you wish to opine, keep it piffy, keep it interesting, keep it awesome, baby. You can follow me on Twitter at StartOverPod. It came from outer space and told me, man, you need a lozenge. Lots of lozenges. You can find out when a new show is up from there. Also, you can buy my shirt in the little dibbly-doo below. And you can get a link to get a Phoenix Nest shirt or a Starting Over Podcast t-shirt. And you have a particular color you want a Phoenix Nest shirt in, as long as it's not like rainbow Technicolor, because I don't got time like Photoshop like that. Let me know and email me, and I can make a custom shirt for you. All right, that's it. Thank you for listening. And I do appreciate everybody listening to the show. And a little side note, like big shout outs to all the people that I met at Rocktober that listened to the show, to the people that were able to share their aspirations, their hopes and dreams with me when it comes to heroclix. Those that listen to me before they sleep. Hopefully I've made your slumber a little bit easier today. For some of those who listen to me to help me build their actual real life organizational teams, shout out to y'all. Hope you're able to make a threat to Majestics on the West Coast, and everybody else that listens to me become a better player, and also that brother that took time to pray for me and my ulcer, homie. But really appreciate it. So thanks to everybody that I met, proving that this game we have a really high quality of character among our player base, and that's a really a great thing. So thank you for listening, and remember, we all have to start over sometime. All right, let's see. All right, here we go, people. Rocktober. Y'all get the view of the pool with nobody outside. And this is Dark Logo's cribs in the hotel. All right, so once again, here here it is. Here's my teammate Wes walking out to get his stuff out the fridge. And we got a little mini fridge this time. We got upgraded to the mini fridge, so this can happen. We got 3 people in the room, 2 beds. You already know where I'm at. So I'm came a little bit better this year. Like I got the maps, in the maps, all the felt maps. I got them. Well, maybe not all of them. I don't have Patrick's map that he made, but I got a lot of felt maps. But yeah, this is day 1, getting ready for the last chance Super Q. Tired as all get out, 5 hours sleep. I didn't think about it completely the way I should have. That was a mistake. That's pro tip. Even if you're flying, get your 7 to 8 ahead of time. Pro tip. All right, that's it. We're gonna get some more stuff from day 1. Hopefully, I can get all this stuff out to you Friday night. Nah, I'm gonna salsa dance it. Probably Saturday. Probably. Hopefully. If not, you're gonna have like a mega compilation video or something cool. All right, that's it. Bye. Round 2, I've lost. I'm here facing Easton Brock. What's up? Yeah, I lost first round. I lost pretty bad. We're on table 19. There we go. Our shame broadcast to the world.
Are you sick or something?
Yeah. Oh.
Sick or something?
Oh wow. They're talking smack.
I just woke up.
But yeah, we sick and sleep. That's my excuse, people. All right. More stuff as we continue. All right. This is the last round of the last chance qualifier, and I've won no games. 0 games the entire day.
You've won 0 games?
I've won 0 games. I've gotten a bye, Mr. Ken the Red.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, but I've won 0 games. So this is my last round. I think the trend is about to continue here. There's Terry somewhere around there. So yeah, if you got Super Ultra Zoom, good for you. All right, that's it for right now for day 1 of Rock. All right, this is day 2. You can see there's lots of people here for teams. Lots of people. You got Team Impact. They're here. You can see their cool shirts. You can see Wesley Summers over there. You can. Warren Jin on the track is in the back. I see. I zoom in on him because that's my master camera skills right there. Warren Jin on the track. See, he's doing tight beats. He's frustrated because they're not getting it. All right, it's a lot of people here. I got the heroclix guy as he walks away, and then he does that. So it's pretty good so far. Phoenix Nest, we won our first round, lost our second round, but we're still pretty good. So yay! So happy on that. Now we're gonna, we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna try to make today more of an interview day and see what I can get. But I'm tired. I went to the Salsa Club. It was great. I mean, it was great. All right, that's it so far on day 2. So I got Jamie Jordan from the Quarry.
That's right.
I've got Ken Newell, Ken the Red. You can recognize the voice from all those Quarries I did with him on there. And of course you got me because it's my show. And then you can introduce yourself.
I'm John Burgess.
Okay, what team are you on?
Wing Symbols.
Wing Symbols.
Because we carry you.
Because we. Oh wow. All right. So back to people trying not to be quirky with their team name.
Yeah.
How was your last round in teams?
Well, we actually played against our own teammates, the other half of Team Juggernaut, and I had to play against Ken, and I lost. It was a very, very good game.
It was a good game.
And it came down to who was going to win my game, because our other teammate, Tim, beat DJ, and James, also known as Lord Cardinal on the round, beat Johnny Alpha. So down to just mine and Ken's game. Time was called. He had 2 figs on their last click, and I'm like, if I could, and it was Night Watch and Anti-Venom. If I'd killed him, I would have won the game. But time was called, ran out of time. Hey, it was a great game though. Had a lot of fun. Yeah, had a lot of fun.
There we go. So overall for teams, what has you all's experience? I'm gonna start with Ken because I'm pointing the camera at him.
That's right.
Well, what's your thought on teams?
It's a lot of fun, man. It is a lot of fun. You really can't go into it expecting to get a whole lot. You gotta actually really know the set really well. We kind of didn't. I mean, there was some figures that we left in the box that we should have brought out. But we had fun. It's a fun event. People aren't. There's no resources involved. It's not hyper meta. It's just skill against skill alone. It's awesome.
There we go. So what's your thoughts about the team event?
Oh man, and this is the thing I was looking most forward to. Even though we went 1-3, man, it was still a lot of fun today. Played against some tough competition. I think my first 2 rounds I played against 2 former world champions. And Ed Arnold, I played against Ed Arnold Berkovitz in round 1, and I beat him. I lost to Paris Gordon in round 2. So, even though, but like I said, sealed, yes, there's a lot of luck involved in sealed because you can, but, I think there's certain people named Dark Logos that may not have opened the greatest stuff that actually did really well today. But, no, we opened pretty good stuff, but dice still kind of failed me in a couple of rounds. And like I said, last round had a great game with Ken, but overall, team sealed. It was a lot of fun. It was very well run. Things went real smoothly. Looking forward to doing it again next year.
All right, so just to let you know what he's talking about. My team was Vermin, Norman Osborn, and Miles Morales. Now, I should have picked up Jackal. Lesson learned. I made that mistake. So like Ken said, we were studying. We didn't go quite the 8th level intellect deep. 7th level intellect, yes. Did that. Pog Masters, I got the ultra heavy sharks to represent my rats because they num you. You know, that's how we do. So I'm going to find some more people. This is day 2 teams. Phoenix Nest 2-2. We didn't do bad. So yeah, let's see how this breaks down. Still on day 2. About that hotel life. Just let you know, this is how we sort of roll, messy as all get out. So we got the Mountain Dews from my man Wes. So much Mountain Dews. We got the mini fridge. I got the good foods here. So I got some watermelons and other melon stuff. That's not mine. That's Wes. I don't do that. You got some Reese's chilling in the fridge, which he's probably gonna be ticked off and mess with his Reese's. I got cheeses. I got salsa verde tomatillos, and we got the smoothies. We've been murking them smoothies though, so yeah. I got baby spinach and kale. I got chicken. Got some tailgate crackers up here. I also had like 2 chocolate bars, but I killed that. So hard. I got Triscuits, Cliff Bars. I got lemon bars from Kroger. Wasn't a full-on mistake. I'll just say that. There was some enjoyable moments. So glad I got the bananas, had cramps. And then also I got the cereal. Now, again, mistake, 2 boxes of cereal. That's a new mistake because I thought I was just going to mow it down like I did last year. I was wrong, so lesson learned. I can't show you more than that because that would give away super secret tech that we were working on. So that's it. It does come with a Keurig. So if you like the Keurig thing, you want to bring your own Keurig cups, there you go. All right, more stuff later. All right, so yeah, it's dinner time, homies, and guess what? I'm the character this evening. Thanks to Scott, Cram Company.
What's up,
Crampton.
Enrique?
That's my teammate Matt. If you don't understand, see my other teammate Wes went over to Scott and bribed him $20 to make me a character this evening. Yeah, it looks delicious. This is one of our lovely gentlemen that is hosting this evening.
Hello. How are you?
He's great. So yeah, and he's one of the main the people here this evening.
I'm Salfi, president of the Billionaires Club, and I put this soiree together. And my mask is killing me. Mort Peacock makes terrible mask.
There we go. All right, so there's some cakes.
Enrique.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So there's cakes. There's James Chris. We got some other people here. This is more actors. Here's the food. So you know what? That's not a good thing to show you right now. You want to know why? Because I got the pimp plate. I got the greatest plate, but I'm also a player character, so I get to use the word appropriately. So you can see this time I got the beans, the potatoes. I got some, what is it, roast beef? Or is this roast beef or prime rib? It's roast beef or prime rib?
Roast beef.
Roast beef, okay. I got my green beans. I got my awesome salad. But also I'm here with Goku, Daniel Powell, his wife Sam. I'm here with Mary with Clicks. They're here. Well, his wife is getting food. Wes, Blaine, and of course James Chris. We plan to win this sucker because I won this sucker last year. but we cheated. We had a forensic
Shout out
scientist.
for Married with Clicks. I need a shout out for ClickStop.
Okay, ClickStop.
Facebook.com/ClickStop.
ClickStop. Are you on YouTube?
No.
You're on SoundCloud.
Our SoundCloud.com/ClickStop.
SoundCloud.
Don't need to be on YouTube.
SoundCloud/ClickStop, where the internet's still free. All right. I might take some more stuff here later about what's going on, but yeah, we got it's interesting right now. All right.